Good evening. First tonight to the little community of Ocean View on the coast, just south of Dunedin. There's concern there that a network of old underground coal mine workings may present a threat to some homes in the area. As John McDermott reports, this follows the collapse of an old tunnel, resulting in a big hole forming in someone's backyard.
3 weeks ago today, when Dunedin was shaken by a solid earthquake, it seemed the city had escaped without damage. But the next morning, Susan Harris woke to find an unwelcome addition to her Ocean View backyard.
I was amazed. I was really amazed. I hadn't sort of seen anything like that before.
The hole then was a lot deeper than it is now, also a lot narrower at the opening. It was able to be covered by this planking. With heavy rain, the sides have subsided and the bottom begun to fill. The experts were called in, and the report that's been prepared is not encouraging. The old mine workings extend under several houses, including the one belonging to Susan Harris. The hole in her backyard has been plotted on the map. An engineer's report prepared for the Earthquake and War Damage Commission suggests there's a risk of further holes appearing in the future, and that a building could be affected. Both the Commission and the Silver Peaks County say they are not liable for damages.
Well, I'm not quite sure how it leaves me. It makes me feel pretty unsafe that there might be mine shafts under my house, which is a big possibility that there is. I don't really know where we're going to go from here.
The county has offered to fill the hole and in the meantime is preparing a report of its own. It'll decide then what approach to take with neighbouring residents, but stresses the mines have been there since late last century and this is the first collapse. That's little comfort to Susan Harris.
I don't think it's very good that people can build houses on land that's not stable enough to be built on, which I tend to think houses shouldn't be built on land that has either a tip under it or old mines under it, because something's going to happen in the future.
Susan Harris admits to being nervous in the house, but will stay and fight a legal battle for compensation.
The packaging of the popular pineapple chunk, or lump, is the subject of an interim injunction issued by Judge Fraser in the Dunedin High Court. Griffins sought the injunction to stop Regina packaging its pineapple chunks in packets similar to Griffins and thereby misleading the public. Griffins say their pineapple lumps have been packaged like this since 1985 and that the new Regina packaging, brought out this year, bears such a resemblance to Griffin's packs as to cause confusion or deception. Regina says it's changing the red lettering on its packs to blue. The judge says this reduces the resemblance to some degree, but still leaves an arguable case. He issued an interim injunction from using packs similar to Griffin's, although the precise terms of the order have yet to be finalised. A full trial has also still to be held. Aviation history is being made in New Zealand this week. The quietest and fastest aircraft to fly commercially around New Zealand has just hit the tarmacs. Anset's new Whisper jet started flying between Christchurch, Queenstown, Rotorua and Auckland this week, but not till VIPs had a chance to try it out.
The Whisper jet touched down in Queenstown on the weekend, laden with the glitterati of the travel industry. They'd had a joyride down from Auckland, and for such a plane load of dignitaries, the Queenstown mayor took to the tarmac.
Yeah, great.
Congratulations, John. Good to see you again.
Oh, it was magnificent, and we're just all cursing ourselves for not bringing our cameras because I've never seen the mountains look so beautiful.
Like proud new parents, Anset was determined to have a christening party, only this one was on the tarmac.
I have much pleasure in naming this aircraft Queenstown. God bless this aircraft and all those who fly aboard her.
It's no wonder Queenstown is delighted with the arrival of the Whisper jet. Now Aucklanders can fly here in half the time, and fast-track Japanese tourists can bypass Christchurch altogether.
Do you think it could be bad news for Christchurch?
No, I don't, because they might do that in one direction, but they won't come to Queenstown without calling at Christchurch in one way or the other.
I think this aircraft could very well bring the advent of a day tripper from Christchurch to Queenstown, and where people don't stay in Queenstown. But you've got to provide in the tourist industry today what people want.
That puts Mount Cook Airlines in the hot seat. Ansett new jets can fly faster and more quietly than its planes. The question now is whether Mount Cook is prepared to match Ansett's $280 million investment in its new fleet.
And if you really want to splash out on the office party skiing trip this weekend, Queenstown now has a helicopter big enough to lift half a busload to the top of the mountain. Here's Michael Lynch.
This big 14-seater Bell 212 is in Queenstown for the winter. She's normally used to ferry ships' pilots outside Wellington Harbour, but now is being used by Southern Lakes helicopters to transport rafting parties, as a shuttle to ski fields, and taking heli-skiers up to the tops. She's proving her worth already, according to the pilots. In these days of mass tourism, bulk transport means money. And if you want to charter the Bell, it's a mere $2,600 an hour.
In news just to hand, a man has been injured in a logging accident in the Waipori Gorge. A 16-strong rescue party is struggling through dense bush right now to reach him, but it's expected to take at least an hour to bring him out. It's Women's Refuge Awareness Week, and in an unusual step today, representatives from the Dunedin Refuge Organisation attended assembly at King's High School. Ellen Brady was there.
We're basically an organisation that works with family violence.
It wouldn't have happened a few years ago, and even today the significance of the occasion was probably lost on many in the audience. But the appearance of women's refuge speakers at a boys' high school assembly is perhaps symbolic of a change of attitude in both organisations. Women's Refuge says today it's concerned about education and the causes of domestic violence, as well as helping the victims. The clenched fist logo adopted by the movement in its early days has been replaced by the kowhai tree, a Maori symbol of healing and hope.
It's a symbol for what we hope is a non-violent future. It's a symbol for our commitment to find a way to relate to each other which is not violent.
King's High is a school which, like most in New Zealand, has a high proportion of students from broken homes, some of whom have come face to face with domestic violence. So what message did the speakers hope to leave behind today?
That they find a better way, a more positive way to relate to each other, to women, a way that doesn't include violence.
The kowhai tree was planted in the grounds of the school later in the day.
Good night. We'll be back tomorrow.